If you've ever dreamt of building something impactful, being your own boss, or solving a real-world problem, then you're in the right place. Today, we're uncovering the exciting, often challenging, but incredibly rewarding journey of launching your very first startup. Feeling overwhelmed at the starting line? Don't worry, by the end of this video, you'll have a solid roadmap for building your first venture. I'm Raja Abbas, CEO of Reach First Inc., a digital marketing company that has successfully helped hundreds of businesses grow for over a decade. Let's get started. Every great startup begins with an idea, but not just any idea, a problem-solving idea. Avoid falling in love with your solution before understanding the problem it addresses. Step 1 is deeply understanding the problem you're trying to solve. Identify who experiences this problem and how painful it is for them. Determine if it's a widespread issue or a niche one. This phase isn't guesswork. It's about researching, talking to potential customers, conducting surveys, and observing behavior. This phase is called problem validation. You're essentially confirming that this is a real problem for enough people that they would pay for a solution. If you can't validate the problem, your idea might be a solution in search of a problem, which is a tough road. Once you've validated your problem, it's time to think about your solution. Here's the crucial part. Don't try to build a perfect product on day one. You need to build a minimum viable product or MVP. An MVP is the most basic version of your product or service that delivers core value and allows you to gather feedback from early users. Think of it as the smallest thing you can build to test your core hypothesis. For example, if you're building a new social media app, your MVP might just be the ability to post and view basic profiles, not all the bells and whistles. The goal is to get something into users' hands quickly, learn from their interactions, and iterate. This iterative process of build, measure, learn is fundamental to any startup's success. So you got your MVP, now what? You need users. This is where customer acquisition comes in. For your first startup, focus on organic, low-cost methods initially. Consider where your target audience spends their time, online and offline. This could be specific forums, social media groups, or local events. Start small, reach out to early adopters, and offer them a chance to try out your MVP. And this is critical. Actively seek feedback. Don't just launch and hope. Ask questions, listen intently, learn what they like, what they struggle with, and what features might be missing. This feedback loop is your compass, guiding your product's evolution. Remember, your early users are your co-creators. Treat their feedback as gold. This entire process we've discussed, problem validation, MVP, feedback, is deeply rooted in the lean startup methodology. It's about being agile, experimenting, and adapting rapidly based on real-world data, rather than spending months or years building something in a vacuum. Iteration is your superpower. Your initial idea will almost certainly evolve. Be prepared to pivot, to refine, and even drastically change your approach based on what you learn. The market will tell you what it needs if you're willing to listen. This mindset saves you time, money, and heartache. It's about de-risking your venture step by step. While you might start solo, building a startup is rarely a one-person show. At some point, you'll need help. For your first startup, consider who complements your skills. Perhaps you need a technical co-founder if you're non-technical, or someone with a strong marketing background. Look for individuals passionate about the problem you're solving who bring different strengths to the table. Don't rush into formal partnerships. Consider project-based collaborations or equity-based agreements for early contributors. For resources, leverage free and affordable tools like cloud services, open source software, and online communities. You don't need a fancy office or a massive budget to begin. As your startup grows, you'll likely need capital to scale. Early stage funding typically comes from a few key sources. First, there's bootstrapping, which means self-funding your venture through personal savings, early revenue, or even credit cards. This gives you maximum control but can limit growth potential. Next, consider family and friends. These are often your first believers, willing to invest smaller amounts based on their trust in you. Then there are angel investors. These are affluent individuals who invest their own money, often providing mentorship alongside capital. They typically look for promising early stage companies. For slightly later stages, or if your idea has significant scalability, you might approach VCs or venture capitalists. VCs invest large sums of money, usually in exchange for equity, and expect high growth potential. There are also grants from government programs or nonprofits, particularly for startups addressing specific social or technological problems, which don't require giving up equity. Always remember, securing funding is a strategic process. Understand the type of funding that aligns with your startup stage and needs, and be prepared to articulate your vision and demonstrate traction. I will make a more detailed video on this topic as part of this series, so make sure you subscribe. Beyond these practical steps, your mindset is your most important asset. Starting a startup is a marathon, not a sprint. You'll face challenges, setbacks, and moments of doubt. That's completely normal. Cultivate resilience, learn from failures, see obstacles as opportunities to learn and grow. Be persistent, celebrate small wins, and most importantly, stay passionate about the problem you're trying to solve. Surround yourself with a supportive network, mentors, fellow founders, friends and family who believe in your vision. This journey can be lonely, so lean on your support system. Starting your first startup is an incredible adventure. It's about turning an idea into reality, creating value, and making a difference. It won't always be easy, but the lessons you learn and the impact you make are immeasurable. If this video inspired you or gave you some practical steps, please hit that like button. Share your big idea or the biggest challenge you foresee in starting your first venture in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for insights into entrepreneurship, business, and innovation. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.